Well, I put this stuff on that says it's a facial mask and it says papaya and strawberry seed scrub facial mask. And it does definitely have gritty stuff in it. I don't know if you can see the little seeds in it. Oops, I got this thing on. It's got the little hook thing I had it on in the front. Where'd it go? Huh? Where is it? Go get him. Go get him. Get down. He keeps bringing me toys to throw. He likes all his new toys he got, but he drags them all outside, and then they get wet in the dew. Alrighty, I am going to, I didn't do, like most of the other ladies that did the 7-day mask thing, did these questions, but I had already filmed several of mine before that somebody gave us the questions, so I thought I'd do some now. Do you prefer winter or summer Olympics? I don't watch the Olympics much. There's a couple from each event I like. I like the gymnastics and the diving and swimming and stuff in the summer. In the winter, gotta get the toy and throw it. In the winter, like downhill skiing where you're on a rug and he keeps hitting the rug and it slides the rug so he moves you. Silly boy. He really likes all those new toys he got. But he'll go and he'll take every single one outside. And then I'll bring him back in and then he'll take them all outside again. You want me to throw it? You gotta let me have it. What's the highest point from which you'd be willing to jump into a deep pool of water? I don't know. It's hard for me to judge. 10, 15 feet? I don't know. What's the longest car ride you've ever taken? I don't know if it was actually the longest, but it sure seemed like the longest. My son and I, my youngest son, and my oldest son was already out here in Texas. So my youngest son and I went from Northern California to Texas. But we were in the biggest U-Haul they had, plus pulling a trailer with a car. So we had to stop. We got about 5 miles to the gallon. Thank God it wasn't gas prices the way they are now. It would have cost us a fortune. And we had to stop a lot for gas, and it was a long drive, and my son was doing all the driving, so we'd stop at a hotel and motel, whatever. And it seemed like forever, but I've probably been on longer car rides. That one just seemed like really long because you can't go that fast in a truck, plus especially if she's pulling a trailer, so it just seemed to take forever. Excuse me, I've still got, I know you can hear my froggy voice. I think it's just allergies. Now what do you have? Oh, nothing, okay. But I've been coughing and hacking and runny nose and all that, and my voice is, as you can hear, pretty much shot. If you had a pet that suddenly started to speak, what's the first thing you would ask it? What happened to you that you won't let me pet you? Huh? What happened? You gonna speak? You hear that yip? You gonna speak? Huh? You gonna speak? That's not the kind of speaking we're talking about. We're talking about we can understand it speaking. I'm not going to play right now. Have you ever had a crush on one of your teachers? Who was it? His name was Mr. Martin, and he was a middle school teacher. I was probably 8th grade-ish. And he had premature gray hair, but he was so handsome and kind and all that. And so we all had a crush on him. He was really cute. Would you ever run for political office? I might. I mean, somebody's got to, everybody's like, ugh, dirty politics, but somebody's got to step up and make them be clean politics. They're going to continue to be dirty politics if all the people that run are the dirty people. We need some, no, don't chew on the couch. We need, moral people to run, and then dirty politics would go away. Is there a cover of a song that you like better than the original? I don't know. I don't pay attention to who sings stuff. I just know what songs I like. Name the clumsiest person in your family. That would be me. I've got this big target right here, and I get, if I wear a white shirt, it's a goner, because I spill food like right here all the time, and I trip and drop things, and no! Do not chew on that. Never done that before, but he's chewing on the corner of the couch, on the cushion he's laying on. I swear that dog's a cat. He's laying on a cushion with arms on either side. It's like a cat would. My roommate and I, Kay and I, decided he's part cat. They said he's not a purebred Shiba Inu. He's the other piece is cat, we're sure, because he totally acts like a cat. Let's see. Name the... Oh, did that one. If you could snap your fingers and teleport anywhere for a weekend getaway, where would you go? I'd kind of like to go to Hawaii, but it's a really long flight and so expensive. But if I could just snap my fingers and go back and forth and, just spend a couple days there, that'd be great. Although I'd love to go to Israel even more. I've got a friend who's just started, just got there probably today, because she left a couple days ago on flying and all that. She's probably just starting her itinerary today. She's going all these places in Israel. That'd be great. Let's see. Oops. I clicked on it and it went a little teeny and I couldn't read it. If you discovered the fountain of youth, would you drink from it? I might, if I didn't have to go back to be young and dumb. If I could keep my things I've learned over the years and then be youthful, I probably would. But if I have to start all over with gaining knowledge again, not so much. If you could go back in time but had to remain where you land, what era? Well, I wouldn't want to stay there because there's eras I think are interesting, but the way they treat women back in the day is terrible, so I really wouldn't want to go back and have to stay there any time other than modern times, because women were treated so badly in most back time, so I really don't think I would want to do it. Okay, let's get some more. What quote do you find most inspiring? Well, there's several ones from the Bible. John 3:16, of course, is the biggie about God so loved the world he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish. I think that's it. And then there's Philippians 4:13, which I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then there's Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and this is like not harm you, give you hope in the future. I think I messed up something in the middle there, but that's the general gist of it. I've lost them. There they are. Nope, it keeps going back to the ones I did before. What's your favorite holiday tradition? Just getting together for Christmas. I think just being together with family. Would you sing a national anthem? Would you sing on national television for $1,000? How about 10,000? Yeah, I'm not that good a singer, but for $1,000 I'd do it. Make a fool of myself. What's the scariest thing that ever happened to you? Well, I've had a couple near-death experiences with had a pulmonary embolism, and then I had this pancreatic cyst, and I was in the hospital for 4 months. That could have killed me. So, things like that could kill you. Yeah, that's pretty much the scariest thing. If you touch this, it shrinks, and then I can't read it. Then it goes back to the first screen, which I don't want. There we go. Back to where we want to be. Name the person in this collab that you think should audition for a reality television show. Oh, geez. I gotta even think of who all's in this co-op. I'll say Lori, because she does so much even though she's legally blind. I think she'd be great. What terrible movie do you love to hate watch? Well, Grease wasn't the best movie in the world, but I love that movie. I watch it probably once a year. I love singing along all those songs. What's the best pickup line you ever either used or was used on you? I have a good pickup line that my grandson, when he was little, they were talking about pickup lines, and in the car on a long car ride. Oops, you fell over, stupid dog. Now he's got you all whopper jawed. Didn't even notice you'd fallen over. They were going down a ski trip or something, and they're in the car and they're talking about pickup lines, and he's like, well, what's a pickup line? So they explained what it was, and so he thinks he's come up with the perfect pickup line, because I didn't quite get the gist of it, I don't think. And he's like, if you were a booger, I'd pick you. The kid's smart as a whip. That's my favorite pickup line. That one's terrible. Would you stop going away? I want you where I want you. How long could you go without showering or bathing? 2 days maybe. I'd take a couple showers a day if it didn't use up all the hot water and mess your hair up. I love taking a nice long hot shower. I'll take one until the water runs out. Come on. Quit going back to places I've been. Ugh. There we go. There's some new ones. I don't know that this is really the kind of mask I'm thinking it is, because it's not drying or nothing. It's just gritty and sticky. I'm probably gonna have to wash this off with a washcloth. If you could instantaneously master any skill, what would it be? Oh geez, I don't know. I'd like to be able to be more handy, like fixing cars and fixing stuff around the house, that kind of skills. I wouldn't have to pay somebody else to do it. I just got my neighbor, he came over and mowed my lawn, because I'm going to buy a lawnmower, I just haven't done it yet. I'm trying to find one I can afford. So he came over and mowed my backyard for $15, so that's not bad. I might keep just doing that for a while. And then as he works on cars, and like paints them and stuff, that kind of works on cars, body work, paint and body. So that mirror that I don't know if I told y'all, I hit a trash can on this narrow country road. Somebody was coming the other way, and it's really narrow and you have to scooch over. Well, I scooched over a smidge too far and I hit a trash can and it took my side mirror off. Of course, they were over the line on their side, so it wasn't all my fault. Money aside, what hobby could you turn into a profession? I don't know. I'm pretty good at card making. I can make cards and sell them. I tried it once, but people just don't want to pay what they're worth, so I don't know what else I could do. I'm a pretty good cook. I could maybe open a restaurant or something. Which sport have you tried but failed miserably? Probably all of them. I'm not very good, but the one that comes to mind was when I was a little kid. I fell out of a swing and I fell hands down, and I sprained both wrists, and ever since then, because I have a real small bone too, my wrists are very weak. So when I'd hit the tennis ball, my wrist would go back, and then even though I'd hit it, it would go the other way because I didn't have any strength in my hands to hit the ball where it's supposed to go. If you could clone yourself, would you? If so, what would both of you do? Well, I could clone a housekeeper, somebody clean the house and do the dishes and do the laundry, or maybe go out and work and earn a little extra money for me. I'd just stay home and just have fun and do whatever I want, and they'd be bringing in money. Are you more afraid of heights than snakes? I'm not really afraid of either. I mean, I'm cautious around snakes because, they can be dangerous, but I'm not really that afraid of them. The kid next door at the time, when I very first moved in, we were moving furniture in and stuff, and he comes over and he's trying to freak out the new neighbor. So he, just watching the dog, make sure he didn't start chewing on that couch again. He comes over with a boa constrictor hanging around his neck, his pet boa constrictor, and he comes up to me, and I reach out and I pet his boa constrictor, and I'm like, oh, what a nice snake. And he was so disappointed. He just totally wanted to freak me out. And I raised boys. Not a whole lot freaks me out. I mean, they even had rats for pets once. I mean, yeah, not a whole lot freaks me out. Now, my sister, she's deathly afraid of snakes. So the kids would perpetually get realistic looking fake snakes and put them places to freak her out. She'd get so mad because there was a little while where she and I lived together when we were both first divorced, and with 4 boys, that didn't go too well. It's just too many boys and too many different parenting ways. But that little bit of time we lived together, they played all kinds of snake tricks on her, like taped a snake to the handle of the toilet, so when she reached back to flush the toilet, she touched it. She was really mad about that one. What's the strangest way you met someone you went on a date with? Well, I went on a blind date with my ex-husband. That's how we met. It's probably the strangest way. It was some date, man. I don't drink at all, and I had something like this. I had a, sinus cold, all that, and coughing and everything. So my girlfriends are like, here, take this. She made me a hot toddy, and she's like, drink this, and it'll help clear up your congestion. So I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know it was booze. So I'm pretty loopy by the time the guys show up for our blind date, and I'm like, hi, how are you? And we ended up going to this party, and we didn't know at the time when we left to go to the party, because it was a friend of a friend kind of thing of the guys, and turns out it was a Hells Angels party. Now, if you don't know what Hells Angels are, they're a very tough motorcycle gang in California. And they're all like drinking, drugs, pot brownies, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. So that was wasn't a really strange meet. I know a lot of people meet on blind dates, but that's the only one I can think of that was kind of odd. It was mainly more the first date that was odd than the meat part. Name the person in this collab that you wish you knew better. All of them. I'd love to have a party and go visit everybody, but we're spread all over the country. There's a couple people that live near me. Kiki's Cracker Jack Box, Sasha, she lives near me. I went and visited her once. Then there's a couple others that I can't think of their channel names, but they live within, 30 minutes from me. So there are a few around that live close by. What movie were you way too young to see but saw it anyway? I can't think of one. I mean, my girlfriend and I, we used to go to the movies every Saturday and watch a double feature for 50 cents back in the day. And we were going to go see some movie, I don't even remember what it was, and the B picture, because the first one they show is the A picture, the good one, and then they'll have a B picture that a lot of people don't even stay to watch. And that one, they didn't know it was going to be the hit it was, and it was the first James Bond movie. I was probably a little too young to watch that. There's some, hanky-panky in James Bond movies. But the one that comes to mind that my kids were too young to see, I mean, I like Tom Cruise, didn't know what this movie was about at all. Took my 2 young boys to see Risky Business, and it starts getting the risky part, and I close your eyes, we're going to leave it, and put my hands over their eyes and made them marched them up the aisle out the door. Yeah, they shouldn't have been seeing that movie. Not at the age they were. I think they were 4 and 10 or something. 10-year-old probably thought no big deal, but didn't want the 4-year-old seeing that stuff. Would you rather meet the Pope, the President, or your favorite celebrity? Well, I don't really have any interest in meeting the Pope or the President. My favorite celebrity, I don't really have much respect for most celebrities. I mean, there are some that, like, I just watched War Room, and I'd love to meet I don't know the actress's name, but the one that was the old lady in that War Room movie. I'd love to meet her. My roommate did actually meet her in person. I'd love to meet her. Or I've gone and seen Priscilla Shire, Beth Moore, some of those. I'd like to meet them in person, but they're not celebrities. I'd like to meet those two brothers, the no, I forget what they are. They're two brothers that do a lot of Christian movies. They'd be interesting to meet too, but typical celebrities, I don't have any respect for them. I don't want to meet any of them. Okay, let's see if we can find some I haven't answered. If you had the power to cure one disease, what would it be? Well, I don't know. My mother died of cancer. My father died of heart trouble, so I'd say cancer. I think cancer affects more people and devastates more families than anything else. I mean, with a heart thing, you know, either you live with it or you die suddenly and it's done. With cancer, I mean, you battle it and sometimes it comes back, and you get devastated as far as your bills because it costs so much for chemo and all that, and a lot of people lose their homes over it. So I'd say cancer. Let's cure cancer. All kinds, not just one. There's lots of kinds of cancer. Let's cure them all. Although I do have a friend whose husband just was diagnosed with ALS, and that's a brutal, awful disease. Let's throw that in there too. Can we cure that one too? And he's a lawyer, and she's used to teach, because she's like got a doctorate, used to teach like political science and stuff. And I mean, their kids are grown and mostly gone. They got one still at home. And they're just getting to the stage of their life where they could go places, do things together. And now he's got ALS, and that times that they're going to be able to do things is very limited because you end up, basically a vegetable. Your mind's still there, but your body's shot. What have you done that took the most courage? What? Probably, I'd say get a divorce, because I had no income at the time and 2 little kids. But I wasn't going to put up with what was going on. Let's just say that. Oops, come on. What's the furthest back you can trace your family history? Now, I don't know if this is true. It's a family legend, but supposedly we're related way back when to Blackbeard the pirate. Or maybe it's Bluebeard. I think it was Blackbeard the pirate. But as far as the ones I know we've traced back, I think my sister does that genealogy stuff, and she's got it back like 4 or 5 generations, but not real far back. What's the fastest speed you've ever reached in a car? Probably 100-ish, 90, 100. Most cars I get are old clunkers, and they get up to 80 and they start going and shaking, and you can't get too high a speed because your car won't take it. If you could control another person's actions and decisions for a day, would you? Who would you choose to control? No, I think that's horrible. That's total invasion of their privacy and stuff. I would not do that. What's the furthest you've ever traveled on foot? I don't know, a couple miles. I don't walk very far. If you've been born 100 years ago, what do you think your occupation would have been? How about 500 years ago? Well, being women back then, you were a housewife. That was it. You didn't really have a whole lot of choice for occupations. And 500 years ago, I was either be a housewife or a slave. That's pretty much your choices. What's the most you've ever spent on a single meal? Probably 100-ish for 2 people, not for just one. I mean, I don't usually go to expensive places. Although, I took my granddaughter to breakfast just last week. And it's this little coffee shop by her house, so I picked her up. And, do you need to go out? Just a minute. He wants me to go out with him. He doesn't like to go out by himself. He wants me to go out and play a little bit, and then he'll go potty. It's kind of cold out this morning. I'm not doing that today. So back to the meal. So I met my granddaughter. I picked her up actually because her car's being fixed. It got in an accident and it's being fixed. She's fine. Got hair. So we went to this little coffee shop, and she always gets the same thing. It's biscuits and then fried chicken, and then the whole thing smothered in like that white sausage gravy stuff. I don't know if it's sausage gravy, but it's the white gravy. And then 2 over easy eggs on top of that. And it's like huge. She loves that thing. And then she got a espresso. And I got hot tea, I think. And she talked me into getting this waffle that was divided into 4 pieces, and each piece had a different flavor. And I got a side of bacon. And with the tip, $54 for just that little breakfast. That's crazy. Of course, she took half her meal home and had it for lunch the next day, but $54 for 3 pieces of bacon and a waffle with a little bit of topping on it, and then her meal. That's just nuts. It was like $26, $27 each for those itty bitty breakfasts. That's nuts. Well, this thing it's not going to dry up. It just isn't. So I guess I'll be done with it. I should take you and see what happens to all the toys that Kit got. Let me take you off of here and all. So here's all his toys. Excited thinking I was going to go out and play with him, but I didn't. I left the door open for him. It's like an Arctic breeze blowing in here. It was like 75 and nice and beautiful yesterday, and it's freezing today. That's why I'm sick. All this up and down stuff always gives me some kind of sinusy, allergy-y, coldy stuff. I took a COVID, but I don't have that. It's just sinuses probably. I don't think I'm contagious. I don't have a fever or anything. It's just coughing, runny nose, all that. Boy, I look terrible without any makeup on. Whew. Well, part of my skin looks bad because all this goop I've got on it, but part of it's just all my age spots. My teeth need whitening too. I drink too much tea. My teeth are... That's why I don't smile like that. I smile like... don't do a very big smile. Alrighty, if you don't know who I am, I've rambled on enough. I'm Pat. That's the P part in Blessed GMP, stands for Blessed Grandma Pat. And all the kids call me Grandma. Even their other friends call me Grandma. I'm the grandma from the schools, kids' schools. Anyway, love to have you subscribe if you haven't. And happy Mess Monday.